Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea from Damon Zahariadis' book, 80-20 Your Life. We're talking about unlocking the secret to getting way more done with way less effort. And trust me, it's a concept that could totally change how you approach your work and your life.
You know that feeling, right? You're busy all day long, just hustling. But at the end of it, your to-do list is somehow even longer, and you feel like you've just been treading water. Well, what if you could completely flip that script and make every bit of your effort actually count?
Okay, so the answer lies in this powerful concept that can honestly change everything. It's a really simple observation about how the world works, but once you get it, you'll start seeing it absolutely everywhere.
It's called the Pareto Principle, but you've probably heard of it as the 80-20 rule. And the core idea is this: in almost any situation, there's a huge imbalance between what you put in and what you get out. So what does that mean for you? Well, let's break it down.
Now, this isn't some new productivity hack. It actually started way back in 1896 with an Italian economist named Vilfredo Pareto. First, he noticed that just 20% of the people in Italy owned 80% of the land. But then, and this is the wild part, he saw the exact same pattern in his own garden. Just 20% of his pea pods were producing 80% of his peas.
And after that, this 80-20 ratio started popping up all over the place. In business, you'll see that 20% of customers often bring in 80% of the profits. In software, 20% of the bugs cause 80% of the crashes. It points to this really fundamental truth: a small, vital fraction of our efforts is what drives the vast majority of our results.
So, what does this really mean for us? Well, it means that most of what we do doesn't really move the needle. It's just a handful of key actions, the vital few, that are responsible for almost all of our success.
The name of the game here is leverage. I mean, think about it. A bottle opener lets you use a tiny bit of your strength to pop off a stubborn metal cap. The 80-20 rule is all about finding those little points of leverage in your own life, those small, smart actions that produce massive results.
But look, this is way more than just a cool theory. Let's see how the author, Damon Zahariadis, actually put this principle into practice in his own life. This is where it gets real.
Okay, so in the corporate world, he realized something huge. Most emails were just noise, and most meetings were a total waste of time. So by deliberately ignoring that trivial 80%, he could pour all his energy into the 20% of tasks that actually drove results.
And get this, when he started his own business, the 80-20 rule showed up again, big time. He ran the numbers and discovered that a staggering 87% of his revenue came from just 13% of his customers. I mean, that's the principle playing out right in front of him.
And it's not just about work. When it came to his health, he didn't get sucked into some complicated, all-consuming fitness regimen. Nope, he figured out the 20% of actions that would give him 80% of the results, cutting out processed sugar and taking short daily walks. It's simple, it's powerful, and most importantly, it's sustainable.
So you might be asking, okay, what's the real payoff for me? Why should I adopt this 80-20 mindset? Well, the benefits are huge, and they go way beyond just getting more stuff done.
First, you'll finally escape that frustrating feeling of just spinning your wheels. As soon as you start focusing only on high-impact tasks, that sensation of treading water just vanishes, and it's replaced by this amazing feeling of making real, actual progress.
You'll also find yourself making decisions with, lightning speed. You know, when you're faced with a dozen things all screaming for your attention, the 80-20 rule acts like your own personal filter, helping you instantly slice through the noise and make quick, confident choices.
And on top of that, you'll gain this incredible mental clarity. Instead of being pulled in a million different directions, your focus just becomes laser sharp. It lets you zero in on what truly matters. And that enhanced focus, it leads to better work and, honestly, a much deeper sense of fulfillment.
Now, it is so crucial to understand this one thing. This is not about adopting some rigid, complicated system. It's actually way more profound than that. It's about a fundamental shift in how you think.
Let's be really clear. The 80-20 rule is not an excuse to cut corners or to be careless. It's about being strategic. It's about being intentional with your precious time and energy.
Here's the bottom line. It is about deliberately investing your most valuable resources, your time and your energy, only on the activities that are actually going to get you closer to your goals. Everything else, it's just a distraction.
So, to really embrace this way of thinking, the author gives us this one final powerful metaphor. It's all about stepping up and taking ownership of your life in a way you maybe never have before.
Think of yourself as the CEO of your life. Seriously. You are in charge of your happiness, your health, your money, your growth. You set the vision, you decide where to put the resources, and at the end of the day, the buck stops with you.
So, I'll leave you with this really powerful question to think about. What is the 20% of your effort that's creating 80% of your happiness and your best results? And just as important, what's the 20% of your activity that's causing 80% of your stress? The answers to those questions, that's your roadmap to a much more effective and, honestly, a much more fulfilling life.